This video is sponsored by F1 Fanatics, but more about that later in the video.
But they are trying to hustle a car around a circuit that does not have the performance. Ocon improves his lap time, not his position. Gasly's only fighting his teammate. It's a sorry state of affairs for Alpine.
What is going wrong with Alpine?
Yeah, what is going wrong with Alpine? Just,
Yeah.
Bahrain was not the best race for them.
The best performance of the year.
Yeah, you know, qualifying 19th, 20th, finishing, was it 17th and 18th? Yeah, they did well forward. They went forward. That's as far as it goes. I
mean, do we see why they went forward? Because of the people behind them have mechanical issues?
Yeah, exactly. It's never really a good omen when that's the case, and that's the reason that you're going forward.
They literally made a wish with the devil and said, "Can we please not be a midfield team anymore?" And the devil went, "No problem. Enjoy being the back marker."
Yeah, which, to be fair, I don't think a lot of people were expecting coming into the season before the reveal and whatnot. No one was expecting that. And then the car's clunky, horrible, doesn't look great to drive. You know, it's overweight and it's got no aero performance really to speak of. And obviously they've said that themselves.
Yeah.
It's just, it looked horrible going around that track. And that's not even about the livery. That's actually about the car and the way it was trying to drive. It just, I think if you put Max in that, he'd have struggled to even get anything. Well, get much out of it, much more.
Yeah.
I've probably been a little bit further up because he couldn't outperform the car, obviously.
People at the race were saying, it's got no traction, it's got oversteer, it's got understeer, like...
It was awful. It was awful. And it was such a bad race for them. And I do worry that this season being the way it could be for them going forward, unless they manage to fix it sooner rather than later, could create that issue between Gasly and Ocon that we were all expecting to happen when they obviously joined up at Alpine.
Yeah.
I could see it happening. It's going to cause a lot of tension. More tension than, you know, Yuki dive bombing Ricciardo.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but they're not Alpine drivers, so we're not really focusing on them. It's not even just the car. Obviously, they've got a lot of issues going on behind the scenes. We've had the technical director, Matt Harmon, the head of Aero, Dirk de Beer. They're both handed in the notices about a month before Bahrain. They're not due to leave. Usually, it would activate them going on to gardening leave and therefore not being around. But they've got... Well, they're going to be there. They're staying for a little while.
Yeah.
Don't know how long. Obviously, they're going to need people coming in, but I feel like the Alpine need more than just those two people.
I mean, it doesn't help when also the team principal, Bruno Famin, is also the vice principal of Motorsport for Alpine. Team principal is a hard enough job as it is, and he's doing two big jobs. Like, how do you run a team efficiently when you've got that much to manage?
Exactly. You look at the other teams, and they don't have that kind of situation. You look at the big teams, you know, your front runners and whatnot. They're not doing two jobs at the same time because they know that they can't have that. You need to have people doing separate things.
Yeah.
You know, companies wouldn't work if we had somebody that was the head of the company, but also the vice head and also the spokesperson and, you know, running the shops and whatnot. It doesn't work. If you've got that one singular person, I think Apple wouldn't be as big as it was if Steve Jobs didn't just focus on his job.
Imagine just see Toto Wolff on just selling t-shirts people at the till. Hey, there's your t-shirt.
I could see him doing it. You never know. It looks like he'd be a manager of like a Hollister or something. You know, just that he's that kind of vibe. Maybe not as like laid back, but I could see it being the case. You never know.
I mean, if you'd like to sponsor Hollister, I do like your stuff.
Same, even though I constantly wear Puma.
Yeah.
Hollister's alright. Don't like the shop.
No, but he's managing too many jobs. He needs to focus on that one job alone. And it's not going to work till they streamline the whole production line at Enstone.
Yeah, literally. And to be honest, if they've had a major issue with the aero for the car, I'm not surprised that he's handed his resignation in. They need to be bringing in somebody who's gonna do a little bit more for them, who's gonna do the best job. And I don't know who they'd bring in for that kind of thing at the minute. I don't know who would be around as such that would be any good.
Engineers all get bought out contracts all the time from other teams. It happens. Engineers want different challenges. Like we've seen people from Mercedes go to Red Bull, vice versa. It's similar to the McLaren situation last season. James Kay, he didn't hand his notice in, but he got sacked last season because the car was that bad to start the season. Like we have seen situations this bad. It took Williams years to turn it around. Somehow it took McLaren 6 months. Don't know how, but he did it in 6 months. Where do you think this is going to land?
I don't think they've got the ability or the capability to be able to just turn around like McLaren. I think they might be pushing maybe towards the middle, depending if they manage to outdo their rivals. But everybody else has sort of brung it this season. They're all doing something. You know, every other team actually looked all right. Haas looked okay.
Yeah.
V-Carb looked okay. Kick Sauber looked okay. You know, like they actually looked all right. Like they were challenging each other rather than it just being here's some, here's the rest. Sort of. Obviously, there is here's the top lot, here's the bottom lot, but it's always.
Well, it looks like everyone's at least gained speed. I mean, the lap times compared to last year, Alpine were actually faster than last year. But when everyone has improved that much more, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, look at literally every other team. Look at qualifying, for argument's sake. All right, yeah, Red Bull probably bought more race pace than they did qualifying pace. But you could see maybe just within that bit where, you know, the ones towards the top would be able to push a bit better. You could see that the gap had started to shrink a little bit. Okay, maybe not over the course of the race. There might have been some wrong calls. Might have been some issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first race of the season. You can't really expect much else. But even then, everybody else, was it Hulkenberg, finished in the top 10 for qualifying.
The Haas last year had a good one lap pace as well. But Alpine, they're not a small team.
No.
Yes, they're not branded as Renault, but they're Renault.
Yeah.
It's just the Renault sporting outfit. That's what the sporting outfit is.
Yeah.
They have the money. That price cap, they can easily get that price cap, and if it was allowed to, they could go above that price cap quite easily. They aren't skint. They're not struggling for money like a team like Haas is.
Yeah.
There is not an excuse.
To be fair, you were comparing them to McLaren for last season. I think you should have compared them like that growth from Aston Martin. Personally, the way that they should have been going.
Yeah.
They should have made maybe not as much progress as Aston Martin, maybe because Aston Martin kind of just blew everybody out of the water last season. But that change between 2021 and 22, not 22, sorry, 22, 23. Wrong
there
year.
you go.
Time moves too quick.
Yeah.
That change between 22, 23 was massive, and you'd think that Alpine would have at least gone in the same sort of direction, but for whatever reason, whatever's gone wrong back at Enstone, they've just gone backwards and majorly. It's not a small amount, and they can catch back up and hopefully maybe finish like 5th. At this precise moment in time, I struggle to see them finishing like 9th. Maybe. They might just push it, but everybody else is that far ahead, unless they bring major upgrades, and every upgrade is a major upgrade.
Yeah.
That season's done, probably.
I would pay to see Otmar Safnauer right now. Getting sacked last year for the team not being good enough. He's probably like, get me out of there.
Yeah.
He knew what was coming.
Yeah.
He's probably chuffed to be gone. Piastri dodged the bullet. Alonso dodged the bullet. They all saw what was coming.
Yeah.
They all knew it. Something behind the scenes has been going wrong for a while now. It must have. Because Alonso didn't want to stay. Piastri gets off this first ever F1 seat. Nah, don't want it.
And it created a whole, issue behind him after it as well. But
yeah,
definitely
it's something that runs deep in that team. There's something wrong with that management. It needs sorting out.
But the issue with that is it's going to take a little bit of time. To be fair, I haven't seen such a bad backslide for a while from a team. Like not this bad. It's been a good little while. There are teams that you expect to be towards the bottom. We expect, between me and you, we both expected Haas to probably be towards the back.
I thought they were dead last. Even Kamasi thought they were dead last.
Yeah. If it wasn't for mechanical issues and stuff, they'd have actually done really well. Or at least I hope they would have done really well. Obviously, you can never tell. The Alpine just an absolute surprise. Although you did call it, you did say it to me before the race that Alpine's going to struggle.
Well, I wasn't catch FP1 or FP2, but I watched FP3 throughout the whole of its entirety, and I looked at the car, I was like, that car's bad. There was just sort of not right with that car.
Yeah, and you called it. You did say it. Yeah, I was still surprised. You said it in the morning before qualifying. You said to me, "Yeah, this car looks terrible." And I went, "Nah, that's not true." Got back home, and yeah, it was true. It was god awful. I don't know where it's going to go. I really don't.
First of all, Bruno needs to be removed of one of the jobs. I'm not saying he should be sacked as team principal. He might be able to change it around if he isn't the VP of the motorsports department in Alpine.
Yeah.
I think his load needs to be lightened. Do you know what my honest opinion is?
Go on.
Maybe it's time for Alpine to back out. Give Andretti a chance. Andretti a chance to swoop in and go, FAA, F1, look at us. We're proven. You've denied it for whatever reasons, but we've proven every motorsport we be in, we create success. We create competition.
I don't see why they wouldn't let them in now. If Alpine carry on being as bad as they are, I reckon that there will be a major shift from the FIA into going, yeah, Andretti, if you want to buy out this team, buy out the team. Or just let them in.
But Alpine had to be willing to sell, and I feel like for a moment, Renault went from Renault to Alpine. They backed out a little bit already. Their effort in it was less. I think they did it because it made commercial sense. It doesn't if they're rolling around the back. It just gives them a bad look.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know how long they can keep going like that, because they'll probably start then losing sponsors and stuff. Because they won't want to be seen as be sponsoring a team that's, the worst of the bunch.
Yeah.
It's going to be the case. And then they're going to start losing things off the side of their car. And they're the only things that give that car colour. You've got BWP on the side, and that's going to be gone. Probably not, but it won't be that drastic. But
it might be the HRT car. Your sponsor here on the side.
And it will just start going backwards and further backwards, and they'll end up like, well, maybe a Haas from a few seasons ago or something.
I mean, it can happen. Again, I know I keep going back to them, but they're very similar cases. McLaren, about 6 years ago. If you look back at their car, they had like no sponsors on it.
Yeah, true.
When they had when Jensen Button and Alonso was there, the black McLaren. Even worse, when they had the silver McLaren, it just said MP4-12C on the side because it didn't have a main sponsor. It's going to end up like that.
Yeah, and that's not what you want for any team. As much as we're sort of talking about the negatives of Alpine, they are a very historic team.
Yeah.
You want to be seeing them being competitive. Doesn't matter where they're being competitive, as long as they're being competitive. They'd have finished last if it wasn't for, mechanical issues for other teams. They'd have finished dead last. They'd have started last. They'd have finished last. Their only race would have been between each other, and we've all seen what happens there.
We know Gasly and Ocon's past.
Yeah, we've seen it all before. Tiny little scrapes, maybe.
Yeah.
There's not much really else we can say about it, to be honest.
All I can say is I hope that for some reason this Grand Prix was an outlier.
They seem very hopeful for the next race.
I mean, Ocon sounded very upbeat. He sounded like he's trying to be team leader, trying to push them on, a bit like what Lewis has been doing for Mercedes.
Yeah.
But apparently Gasly is being very much the opposite. That's what they were saying in the commentary. Apparently he was swearing all down the radio.
Well, yeah, but it could be Gasly just had a frustrating race and didn't go the way that
Ocon would have been there. Both in the same boat.
Yeah, but you think if they're that much of a rival, if one's annoyed, the other one's going to be like, look at me, I'm all happy. Hi. They would do, even if they're fuming inside. Just to be annoying to the other one. Just tiny microaggressions.
I'd like to say fair play to Ocon now for keeping us cool and trying to just say, come on team, I know how good you are, let's push on, let's make this better.
Yeah, that's what you need. That is what you need.
Yeah.
Coming out and at least trying to be positive, put a positive spin, go, right, we didn't have the best race today, we can only learn. Let's move on to the next one and try and learn what we can from that as well. That's what you need. That, I think Alpine, if I remember rightly, did put out a statement, something along those sort of lines of, it wasn't what we wanted, but we'll learn from this. We'll learn from the next race. We'll know what's wrong with our car and be able to fix it. That's what they need to be doing. The drivers need to be doing that. Someone needs to pull him in and pull Gasly in and just go, look, I get you're frustrated, but we need to be outwardly looking excited for the future. Happy, looking forward to it, learning from
Just be
ourselves.
positive.
Yeah, just
inspiring.
But
Yeah,
time.
there's not. Yeah, definitely.
We'll see what the weekend brings. We'll end it there. So leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you think that Alpine have got a good way, like they're going to be going somewhere with this. And let us know if you think they're not. They're not. All comments are welcome, and we will reply to every single comment. Yeah, probably Josh is too excitable for this time of day. Someone's had caffeine. Anyway, yeah.
No.
But anyway, yeah. Check the comments for our sponsor, F1 Fanatics, and we will see you, after the race this weekend.